Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at Aggro Sword. This isn't my deck, but I will have a link in the description to the creator's Twitch account. It's from a Japanese player who's one of the top royal players for last month. So just now that's out of the way, we'll take a quick look at it. Most of it's your pretty standard aggro. Mentor's Teachings making comeback along with Keen Enchantment, just because they are amazing ways to boost up your Storm followers, especially in the later areas of the game, or more like mid-section when you're playing Sword. We are in one round table, as that works really nicely with Princess Juliet, of course, but you don't really need three, so it's just nice to have it that way. Your top end tops out with one Tsubaki, dealing with any big threats, wards, whatever you really gotta get at. And Kunoichi Master, of course, just an amazing card, can set up lethal pretty well, and usually will win you games in that way. Other than that, Dance of Death, again, Tsubaki clears things out, also the face damage, same reason running Demonic Strikes, great for dealing more damage to face, and the rest is just Storm and combo pieces for Storm. So we'll get right into some games here, and I'm sure that'll be pretty quick. Game 1, we've got Rune. Rune is still reasonably common, but D-Shift is definitely a lot less common. Usually you'll find Earth Rune over every other kind of rune. Pretty good starting hand. I do drop the Albert because I know what Earth Rune runs, so anything out I can get out earlier would have been better. Unfortunately, Kunoichi Master, not the best thing, but also not the worst, because it's not going to be hit by a lot of things very easily, especially with me going first. So they're not going to have the option to play their turn 6 and actually clear my Kunoichi. But we don't have much else, so playing out the Perseus seems worthwhile. After all, Centaur Vanguard combo with it is fairly good, and the odds of them actually playing something that will interrupt the Perseus or Quick Blader is reasonably low. Fortunately, we don't get another Quick Blader, which would have been the better card, or even any of our 1-drops, Perseus or Vanguard. But we do get to ping heaps of damage to face. After all, what's Sword good for? Just hitting face, really. Mind you, Control and Mid are picking up a bit more. And of course, Princess Juliet is just an amazing card. And since I know Kunoichi Master can do some damage next turn, and the fact that they're not going to be able to clear my board leaves me pretty happy with this play. I mean, at best, they're probably going to get rid of 3 things. Unfortunately though, the amount of healing they can do here is absolutely crazy, especially when you factor in the Starseer's Telescopes that they're about to play. Allows them to boost up 6 health just this turn alone, making my job a little bit harder. Fortunately, that is one problem with versing Earth Rune. But one bonus is they're pretty board locked at this point. But I do need to start removing some of these Earth Sigil cards. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they would have played this out otherwise. I mean, they did literally lock their own board. They can't remove their 4-3 or their 2-2 with what I have on board. And I can't think of any other card that they might have that could take advantage of these Earth Sigils. So for me, it just gave me a chance to deal massive amounts of damage for free, basically. So we quite easily get 9. Leave them with 4. Demonic Strike Novice Trooper would be lethal in this case. Unfortunately, they do decide to clear the entire board. We are still left with that Demonic Strike Novice Trooper. Not so lucky though. Scrap Iron Smelter blocking out my lethal. And not many other options from here on. I really need to get rid of that ward. Throwing this 2-2 out also means they're probably going to ram the healer into it. And if they don't, then I guess that's just too bad. So now we need 3 damage. But in saying that, they have now locked themselves to the board completely. So all we have to do is buy enough time. Unfortunately, this 2 damage is good. I honestly can't think of what else they could use to unlock the board when you're playing Earth Rune, outside of, unless you're playing a Goblin variant. So for me, all I gotta do is wait. Wait until I draw into any of my damage, like Dance of Death. Perfect way to go out. The next matchup is Blood, a little more interesting. Fairly aggressive decks normally. Blood also as control variant would be quite hard to deal with the sword deck, but I am interested to see how this plays out overall. Well, obviously I know what the outcome is, but it's interesting to look back on some of these games after you've played them to see where you could really improve or just adjust. So we start off pretty average hand, nothing too major. The Kunoichi trainee is okay, but against Blood there's not really much you can do. May as well. What does Blood really have that could deal with Kunoichi? I honestly can't think of anything. That Urias though, bane of my life. Absolute pain. I honestly probably should have got rid of it here so it wouldn't become a problem later. But that face damage was just too valuable. And of course they set up that Vampiric Fortress. They're not going to let that one slip through their fingers. But for me, putting him to 8, pretty good. I don't take any more from Urias at this point. And they're not in a great spot. They do have the Urias now as a 3-3, so they get 8 damage total this turn. They do inflict 1 to themselves. That would be provided they didn't kill this Juliet, which they did. So they really only got 5, which for me isn't too bad at all. Making decision though, Dance of Death being my best option. Buying time. These games are usually pretty quick, but this one was very kind of intense, I would say, just because of how closely aggressive we were both being. And the reason I killed the other card was mainly because I was worried that 1 damage would literally end me. And if I hadn't, Razor Claw would have probably ended me. So we're literally short at this point right now. 1 damage. We need 1 way to go for lethal. Luckily, Dance of Death would deal 2, kill the Urias, play the Quick Blader, win. They didn't know that, but they conceded anyway. And last up, Dragon. Which, their name's already ripped, so they know how this is ending. Going first, of course, best case scenario for any aggressive deck. Perseus, still an amazing card. If you guys haven't, check out the Shadow Nexus channel where Aya actually does a interview with the voice actor for Perseus, along with a couple of other cards. It's definitely worth watching. I'll probably leave a link to that in the description below. Of course, Blazing Breath. It's pretty normal. I'm used to that by now. So we'll follow up with another Perseus. Why not? Princess Juliet. Still beautiful. Getting that 2 damage in. And not clearing it. A little bit of a mistake. I mean, 2 keen enchantments make this thing a pretty good powerhouse. If we can follow that up with a demonic strike, be pretty happy. But of course, they do go Yer, which, it's not bad, but they probably would have preferred to have used it on something like Dragoon Forte instead of having to use it on a Juliet. I do play Perseus, probably a bit of a mistake. Vanguard probably would have been better just because Perseus could combo better with other cards that I could draw. Of course, Staircase to Paradise. Some dragons are still running that. My personal decks that I've been using, I haven't, but some people will. We get to push another 4 with this Juliet. 5 health, mainly putting them within range of, say, I don't know, Albert, anything like that really. I think Albert's the only one I've got that's a big one. The other one would probably be a Tsubaki, provided that I can, you know, take advantage of it. Tsubaki Evolve would be enough. I would just need to survive this next turn if I could draw it, but unfortunately I don't. Mentor's Teachings though, we do use it on the opponent, but it does give me the Kunoichi, which works just as well as Tsubaki would. So definitely worth sometimes using that Mentor's Teachings as a draw, just so you can try and find an out. Not so lucky though, they're pushing me right to the edge. 7, 9, 14 damage on board, 1 from lethal. Sometimes these games are just that close. And of course I get to easily follow up with lethal, so no point to continue on there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Deck list is in the description below as always, and as I mentioned, check out the video that I had done, which I will also have in the description, of the interview with the voice actor for Perseus. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.